Hi, everyone. Cathy Sabater, mortgage broker and proud veteran. And I am here today with another Navy veteran. He's dealing with Ventura County. He's been a broker, realtor for over 4 years. And let me tell you what's so great about Bobby. I met Bobby when he bought his first condo, and he has created wealth through real estate. Hence the reason why he's talking to you buyers here today. Bobby, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kathy.
Mm.
Excited to talk with you.
Now, you're in Ventura County now, so can you please share some of the statistics there for that area?
Absolutely. Ventura, a little bit different than San Diego, but right now we're seeing about average days on market just under 60 days, which is a little bit of an increase year over year. However, we're getting to pending a little bit faster, right around 30 days for Ventura County. We also saw a slight decrease, not as much of a decrease as San Diego, but about 1% in median sale price. So we're right around just under 860,000 for median sale price here in Ventura.
Well, wonderful. So we're going to answer some 5 questions that buyers should be asking some of their realtors, right? So Bobby, being a buyer, being a realtor, being a broker, and building wealth, he's one of the experts that you really should be listening to. So one of the questions that the buyers may be asking is, hey, if I were to wait 6 to 12 months, what do you think is going to happen with prices? What's happening with the market?
It's always that question of should I buy now or should I wait? Should I wait for interest rates to drop as a buyer? And something I always try to tell all of my buyers is if you're in a position to buy, just do it. Just do it now because if we knew the answers, then everybody would be hoping in 6 to 12 months or however long it would be. But if you have the opportunity, buy because real estate it's not a short-term uh, outlook, right? Real estate's something that you're buying and you're looking to build that generational wealth by holding. It's a long-term investment. So when you look at the small scale of 6 to 12 months, it's really hard to say where the market will be, but in 10 years, 20 years, it's going to appreciate. You just have to kind of jump in.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. So let's segue into inventory because what's happening now with inventory, it's happening with rates, right? If the person still is considering, I'm sitting on the fence, I'm going to wait 6 to 12 months. As far as inventory is concerned, what's the perspective on that?
So we are seeing a pretty substantial increase in inventory. There's more and more listings, right? We have more days on the market, so we're having more inventory, which is great. And we're starting to see that shift from a very strong seller's market
Mhm.
into potentially getting closer to a buyer's market. So as inventory goes up, we're going to see less competitiveness. However, it's hard to say, will there be more listings in the future as people are getting ready to sell to buy, but that's also putting more buyers in the market. So it's always a catch 22.
Mhm. So when we're dealing with waiting, right? Because if you were to potentially make an offer today, because we can't see what the future is. So when we compare what happened in the past to what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future, how do you help buyers in regards to, hey, I'm going to make an offer. I know some of these buyers like, hey, it's been sitting in the house, it's been sitting for 40 days. I'm going to do ABC. How do you redirect them into, okay, this is what you should be doing?
Yeah, I think everyone's still thinking back to the COVID times, if you would, of
Mhm.
just, how much do I have to offer to get the property? And now buyers are in a position that they can ask for a little bit more. It is interesting though, because a lot of sellers, they're locked into that, historically low interest rate. So it's
Mhm.
not necessarily that they have to sell, but they're definitely entertaining the ask of buyers. I've seen some contracts go out, some purchase agreements with, huge credits, huge buy downs, like huge opportunities for buyers. So I think if anything right now, it's the time to ask, right? The worst they can say is no, but we are seeing offers getting accepted, so just have to apply and try.
There you go. Now, question that they ask is, hey, I know I said I was going to wait. I've been waiting 6 to 12 months. How many families, not necessary, but do you have one or two stories to say, hey, I waited, I shouldn't have waited? What are their regrets?
Yes, those are always like the hardest conversations with some of the clients on the buy side. I mean, just thinking back to one client in particular during COVID, I mean, it was so discouraging for buyers because the competition was so high that, I mean, I remember I was writing an offer almost every 4 days for one of my clients. I mean, we just could not get a property. We were over list price or, very minimal contingencies, waiving contingencies, could not locate a house. So, that buyer unfortunately got discouraged and he got priced out, right? We were still kind of in the 4%, like lower fours, and then interest rates went up to 6, and then all of a sudden it was, hey, I can no longer, even with like a softer seller's market, I can't afford it now. So he's been completely priced out. And I saw a lot of clients getting discouraged during those times. And the difference now is you actually have the opportunity to not have to be as aggressive with your offer and actually, ask, right? Shoot your shot. See if you can have those credits, have that buy down for the rate.
Mhm,
Otherwise, I mean, it will keep appreciating. If rates do drop, prices will go up and it's kind of the same at the end of the day. So if you have the opportunity, you have to kind of take advantage of the moment.
mhm. So that's an interesting thing. So, in summary, basically what's happening is Bobby's letting you know you can sit and wait, buy, don't buy. But at the end, the reason why he's so successful is that he jumped in. He bought his condo, wasn't exactly what he wanted, but he bought the condo, then bought another house, has investment property, and now he's sitting going, okay, how am I going to manage this? So right now, you today you can consider yourself to be priced out, but what Bobby is telling you is this. If you have a dollar amount that you feel comfortable with, then you go backwards because that's what I do with my buyers and say, okay, I feel comfortable with this payment. This is the purchase price I should be in. And then you just stay in contact with Bobby and you just go out there and look for things. Now, if you continue to sit on the fence because COVID was one thing that people were paying over asking. So if the house was going for XYZ, you had to pay 20, 40, $50,000 over that came out of your pocket on top of all your closing costs. What's happening now is people say, I'm waiting for rates to go down, waiting for prices to go down. That's not the real reason they're waiting, right? They're waiting because they don't want to take the opportunity. They don't want to take the chance to invest. Because if you think about it, this is the happy medium because rates were like in the sevens last year. Now they're in the mid to lower sixes. People are hoping it goes down to the five, but right now, based on some of your purchase price, you could potentially have saved $400 already, right? So waiting another 6 months to wait for a 5.5, that could potentially just save you maybe 80 to $100 a month. Now, if that doesn't keep you pre-approved, that's fine. But what is Bobby saying? Bobby is saying if you have the opportunity if you have the means to be comfortable with that payment, then jump on in and get started with it. So if you want to, Bobby is one of the people that I really true trust in regards to helping the first time home buyer, the returning home buyer, and people who need to sell to buy. So Bobby, are there any other last words you'd like to say?
Yeah, I think just to kind of piggyback off of that, Kathy, it's if you have the opportunity, you have to take advantage of it because I mean, the first property you buy is the hardest, right? It's the biggest investment you
Mhm,
probably have ever made. It's going to be one of the biggest investments that you will make. But once you do one, it becomes so much easier to get two and start really building, your real estate portfolio. Or if you don't want to go into real estate and you're happy with one property. I mean, it's setting you up for success down the road. It's giving you something to leverage later on. And, Kathy is one of the best lenders I've ever worked with. I think
mhm.
she's personally done about 10 loans for myself, and you're in great hands with Kathy, and she's going to help kind of guide you throughout the process and make sure that you're set up for success.
Well, wonderful. Bobby, thank you so much for your time. Much success for you and happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you, Kathy.